Sapor. 3 weeks ago, Marcus had accidentally omitted a jurisdictional clause that nearly torpedoed the Silverstone contract. Ethan Park had caught it 17 minutes before the client call, projected the email thread on screen, calmly asked Marcus to clarify the timeline. The room went silent. Marcus smiled his practiced smile, but everyone saw the truth. Since then, Marcus had been circling, waiting for Danai to slip. And now this, her biggest opportunity, wrapped around a tripwire. Julia's gaze didn't soften. You're the best junior associate I've seen in 5 years. But best doesn't matter if you can't hold it together when the pressure triples. This weekend, show me you won't break. Danai's throat tightened. She wanted to say, I don't break. But her hands were shaking. The fluorescent lights suddenly felt too bright, the walls too close. Julia stood. Ethan Park will be your secondary review. He requested it. That pulled Danai out of her spiral. What? He said, and I quote, if you're testing her, test me too. We work better as a unit. Julia's expression was unreadable. I don't do partnerships on principle, but I'm allowing this one. Don't make me regret it. The door closed. Danai sat alone in the glass-walled conference room, the contract in front of her, her reflection ghosting across the window. Beyond it, the Manhattan skyline glittered, 40 stories of proof that she'd made it. But all she felt was exhausted. Her phone buzzed. A text from Ethan. Conference room B, bring coffee, we have work to do. She didn't want a partner, didn't want someone watching her every move, noting every hesitation, every moment her hand shook or her focus blurred. She wanted peace. The kind that came from controlling every variable, needing no one, owing nothing. But Ethan Park kept showing up, kept offering structure when she was drowning, kept seeing her without demanding she explain herself. And the most terrifying part? She was starting to trust it. Danai picked up the contract. Her signature space at the bottom, empty. If I sign this, everything changes. If I walk away, I prove Marcus right. She stood, smoothed her charcoal suit, and walked toward conference room B. The door was open. Ethan sat with his laptop, 2 cups of coffee already on the table, one black, one with oat milk. He'd remembered. If you've ever been exhausted from proving your worth every single day, stay with this story. Subscribe so we can keep bringing you narratives about people who choose peace over performance, and discover both are possible. Danai had learned early that survival in corporate law meant mastering the invisible currency of perception. It wasn't enough to be smart. You had to be flawless. One mistake from her became evidence of incompetence. One mistake from someone like Marcus became an oversight. She'd been the only black woman in her law school's top 10%. The only one in her incoming associate class at Hartman and Cross. The only one still standing after 2 years of 80-hour weeks and partners who praised her work in private, but never in front of clients. So when Julia Ramos, the firm's only Latina partner, a woman who'd clawed her way up with zero margin for error, offered her the Tectron lead, Danai knew what it really meant. This is your audition. One mistake, and you're done. She walked into conference room B, where Ethan had already set up a war room. Whiteboards filled with deal timelines, color-coded folders stacked by priority. A USB drive labeled, Preliminary Audit, Start Here, in his precise handwriting. You didn't have to do this, Danai said, setting her briefcase down. Ethan looked up, adjusting his black-framed glasses. I know. But we have 72 hours to review 8 subsidiaries, flag liability exposure, and map regulatory compliance across 3 jurisdictions. Doing it alone is inefficient. I've done harder. I'm sure you have. His tone wasn't condescending, just factual. But you don't have to. There it was again, that steady, unshakable offer of partnership. No fanfare, no savior complex. Just, you don't have to carry this alone. Danai hated how much she wanted to believe it. Marcus is going to fight this, she said instead. He'll find something. An error, a shortcut, anything to make me look careless. Ethan nodded. Then we make sure there's nothing to find. He slid a folder across the table. Start with Tektron's Delaware subsidiary. I'll handle the Singapore entity. We cross-check at midnight. Midnight? Danai glanced at the wall clock. 6:47 p.m. That's 5 hours. You have dinner plans? She didn't. She never did. Her last dinner plan had been 3 months ago, a date with a consultant who spent 2 hours talking about himself, then ghosted her when she canceled their second meetup because of a client emergency. After that, she'd stopped trying. Peace was easier than disappointment. No plans, she admitted. Ethan pulled out 2 containers of Thai food from a bag under the table. Good. I ordered ahead. Green curry, no shrimp. Extra basil. Danai stared. How did you... You always order the same thing when we do working lunches. He opened his laptop. It's not complicated, just paying attention. And that was the problem, wasn't it? Ethan Park paid attention. He noticed when she skipped meals, when her shoulders tensed before partner meetings, when she rewrote the same sentence 5 times because perfection was the only acceptable standard. He noticed, and he didn't weaponize it, which made him either the safest person in this building or the most dangerous. By 11:43 p.m., Danai's eyes burned. She'd reviewed the Delaware subsidiary's contracts twice, flagged 14 potential liability issues, and cross-referenced precedent law for each one. Ethan worked across from her in focused silence, occasionally scribbling notes or pulling up case files. No performative sighs, no complaints. Just steady, relentless competence. Find anything concerning? He asked without looking up. Indemnification clause in the supplier agreement is too broad. If Tektron gets sued for product defects, they're exposed for upstream manufacturing issues they didn't cause. Ethan nodded. Add it to the red flag list. I found something worse. He turned his laptop toward her. A contract addendum from 2019, buried in subsidiary C's acquisition documents. The language was dense, but one phrase jumped out. Perpetual liability for pre-acquisition environmental violations. Danai's stomach dropped. That means if the previous owner dumped chemicals illegally, Tektron is on the hook. Forever. And guess who the previous owner was? She scrolled down. Her breath caught. Silver Lake Industrial, Marcus's client from last year. Ethan leaned back. The same Silver Lake that settled an EPA lawsuit out of court. The settlement was sealed, but the violation existed. If we don't flag this, and it surfaces during the merger, Tektron walks. And we get blamed for missing it. Danai's pulse quickened. This was exactly the kind of landmine Marcus would accidentally fail to mention. He'd worked the Silver Lake deal. He knew about the EPA issues. We need to document this, she said. Timeline, email proof that Marcus had access to this information. Already done. Ethan pulled up a folder. I saved every communication from the Silver Lake deal. Marcus sent 3 memos about environmental compliance. He knew. Then why didn't he disclose it? Ethan's expression darkened. Because if this deal falls apart, he can blame the due diligence team, which would be you. The room suddenly felt colder. Danai had known Marcus was competitive, vindictive even, but this was sabotage. Calculated, deliberate sabotage designed to destroy her credibility. We tell Julia first thing tomorrow, Danai said. She needs to know. Agreed. But we also need to fix it. Ethan opened a new document. We draft an addendum requiring Tektron to escrow funds for potential environmental liability. Makes the deal safer. Shows we caught what Marcus missed. Danai watched him work. Fingers flying across the keyboard, legal language flowing with precision. He wasn't doing this for credit or recognition. He was doing it because it was aimed right, and because he'd promised he wouldn't let her fall. Why are you helping me? The question slipped out before she could stop it. Ethan paused. For a moment, the only sound was the hum of the building's ventilation system. 3 years ago, he finally said, there was a junior associate named Keisha Okonkwo. Brilliant, fastest legal mind I've ever seen. She was black, first gen, worked twice as hard as everyone else. Danai's chest tightened. She knew where this was going. She got assigned to a partner who undermined her constantly, gave her impossible deadlines, then criticized her for not meeting them. She started having panic attacks in the bathroom. I saw it happening. I said nothing. His jaw clenched. 6 months later, she had a breakdown during a client pitch. The firm fired her for performance issues. Last I heard, she left law entirely. Silence. I told myself it wasn't my problem. Ethan continued quietly. That getting involved would risk my career. I was a coward. He looked at Danai directly. I won't be a coward again. Danai's throat burned. She wanted to say something. Thank him. Tell him it mattered. But the words wouldn't come. So she just nodded. And they went back to work. Saturday morning arrived with the kind of exhaustion that made the world feel muffled. Danai had slept 4 hours, dreamed of contracts with clauses that multiplied every time she read them, and woke to 17 new emails. She showered, dressed in her armor, pressed navy suit, gold studs, hair pulled into a sleek bun, and arrived at the office by 7 a.m. Ethan was already there. Do you ever sleep? She asked, setting down her coffee. I did, for 5 hours. Very reasonable. He slid a document across the table. Draft addendum for the environmental liability issue. I ran it past a contact at Morrison & Hewitt who specializes in EPA compliance. She said it's airtight. Danai scanned the document. It was perfect. Precise, protective, impossible to challenge. When did you have time to do this? Couldn't sleep. Figured I'd be productive. He pulled up another file. Also drafted the memo for Julia, outlining the timeline of Marcus's involvement in Silver Lake. We present both together. Ethan, you don't have to thank me. He met her gaze. This is what a team does. You would have done the same. Would she? Danai wasn't sure. She'd spent so long fighting alone that the idea of genuine partnership felt foreign. Julia wants the preliminary audit by Monday morning, Danai said. That gives us 36 hours to finish the rest. Then let's work. Ethan stood. But first, food. Real food, not vending machine coffee. He led her down to the building's atrium, where a weekend farmer's market had set up. Danai hadn't even known it existed. They bought breakfast sandwiches and fresh fruit, ate on a bench outside while the city woke around them. For 15 minutes, they didn't talk about contracts or liability or Marcus's sabotage. Ethan told her about his younger sister Mina, a law student who idolized the profession. Danai told him about her mother Claudette, a hospital administrator who called every Sunday to ask, "When will they promote you?" She means well, Danai said. But it's exhausting. Like I'm carrying her dreams on top of mine. You don't owe anyone your exhaustion, Ethan said simply. Danai looked at him. Really looked. Korean American, early 30s, dark hair slightly messy from a night of work. Calm eyes behind black-framed glasses. No performance, no agenda. Just steady presence. Thank you, she said quietly. For breakfast? For seeing me. Ethan's expression softened. You're hard to miss. Something shifted in her chest. Small, dangerous, terrifying. She stood abruptly. We should get back. He didn't push. Just gathered the trash, walked beside her in comfortable silence. But as they rode the elevator back to the 14th floor, Danai realized something. For the first time in years, she didn't feel alone. And she had no idea what to do with that. By Sunday afternoon, they'd completed the audit. 8 subsidiaries reviewed, 23 liability flags documented, solutions drafted for each one. The work was meticulous, defensible, bulletproof. Danai should have felt triumphant. Instead, she just felt numb. You need to sleep, Ethan said, closing his laptop. Real sleep. Not the kind where you wake up every 2 hours checking your phone. I'm fine. Danai. He leaned forward. You've worked 62 hours since Friday morning. You're not fine. How do you know how many hours I've worked? Because I've been here for 58 of them. The precision of the answer startled her. He wasn't guessing. He'd actually counted. Why? She asked. Because you won't. Because you'll work until you collapse and call it dedication. His voice was gentle but firm. Someone needs to keep track. Might as well be me. Danai didn't know whether to be angry or grateful. No one had ever monitored her well-being like this. Not as control, but as care. I don't need a babysitter, she said, but the words lacked heat. Good. Because I'm not offering to babysit. I'm offering to be your partner. Partners notice when the other is running on fumes. And what do partners do about it? Ethan stood, packed his laptop. They enforce boundaries. Come on. I'm walking you home. Ethan. Non-negotiable. You're in no state to make rational decisions. She should have argued, should have insisted on her independence, her capability, her right to run herself into the ground if she chose. But she was so tired. Fine, she said. They walked 12 blocks through the quiet Sunday streets. Ethan didn't fill the silence with empty chatter. He just walked beside her, steady presence in her peripheral vision. When they reached her building, he stopped at the entrance. Sleep, he said. Tomorrow we present to Julia. I'll meet you at 8 a.m. to review the final documents. You don't have to. I know. I want to. He adjusted his glasses. Get some rest, Danai. He turned to leave. Ethan? He looked back. Thank you for counting my hours. A small smile. Someone has to. Monday morning arrived with crystalline clarity. Danai had slept 9 hours, a record, and woke feeling almost human. She met Ethan at 8 a.m. sharp. They reviewed every document, every flag, every solution. By 9:30 they were ready. Julia's office was minimalist elegance, glass desk, leather chairs, a view of Central Park that cost more than most people's yearly salary. Show me what you've got, Julia said, no preamble. Danai presented. Subsidiaries mapped, liability issues identified, solutions proposed. Her voice was steady, confident. Julia listened without interrupting, occasionally making notes on her tablet. When Danai finished, Julia leaned back. The environmental liability issue with Silver Lake. Walk me through how you found it. Ethan spoke up. It was buried in Subsidiary C's acquisition documents from 2019. The perpetual liability clause wasn't in the primary contract. It was in Annex C, page 47. Julia's eyes sharpened. And Marcus Chen worked the Silver Lake deal. Yes, Danai said carefully. We documented the timeline. He had access to all EPA compliance information. And he didn't flag it. Julia's tone was neutral, but her expression was ice. Interesting. She stood, walked to the window. For a long moment, she said nothing. Then, you two just saved this firm from a $40 million mistake, and you exposed sabotage that could have destroyed our reputation. She turned. That's partner-level work. Danai's heart pounded. I'm recommending you both for early promotion to senior associate, Julia continued. And I'm reassigning the Tektron deal to include you as full co-leads, not juniors. Co-leads. What about Marcus? Ethan asked. Julia's smile was sharp. Benjamin Cross will be having a conversation with Marcus about professional responsibility. Let's just say his path to partnership just became significantly longer. Danai felt dizzy. This was everything she'd worked for. Validation, recognition, proof that her relentless effort mattered. But when she looked at Ethan, she realized something. She hadn't done it alone. And for once, that didn't feel like weakness. It felt like strength. The news spread fast. By noon, everyone knew. Danai Carter and Ethan Park had been promoted. Marcus Chen had been reassigned. Danai expected celebration. What she got was isolation. Colleagues who'd been friendly before now offered tight smiles and quick exits. The associate coffee group chat went silent when she joined. In the break room, conversation stopped when she entered. They think you slept your way here, a voice said behind her. Danai turned. Priya Mehta, a third-year associate, stood with her arms crossed. Excuse me? The rumor that you and Ethan are involved, that he did all the work and gave you credit. Priya's expression was unreadable. I don't believe it, for the record, but people are talking. Danai's blood ran cold. Who started it? Does it matter? It's out there now. Yes, it mattered, because Danai knew exactly who would weaponize her success as proof of incompetence. She found Marcus in the litigation wing, talking to 2 junior associates. When he saw her, his smile was poison dressed as politeness. Congratulations on the promotion, he said. Well deserved, I'm sure. Cut the act, Danai said. I know you started the rumor. What rumor? Innocent eyes. That Ethan did my work. That I'm only getting promoted because we're involved. Marcus shrugged. I can't control what people speculate about. Maybe if your partnership wasn't so visible, people wouldn't wonder. Danai stepped closer. You tried to sabotage me with Silver Lake. When that didn't work, you tried to destroy my reputation. What's next, Marcus? Slashing my tires? Careful, Marcus said softly. Paranoia isn't a good look on a senior associate. One of the junior associates shifted uncomfortably. The other stared at her phone. Danai realized with sick clarity they believed Marcus. Or at least, they weren't sure enough to disbelieve him. This was the cost of visibility, of success, of daring to rise without apology. She turned and walked away before Marcus could see her hands shake. Danai went straight to Ethan's office. He took one look at her face and closed the door. What happened? She told him. All of it. The rumors, the isolation, Marcus's poisonous smile. When she finished, Ethan's jaw was tight. He's trying to make you quit, he said. Sabotage didn't work, so he's attacking your credibility. It's working. Danai's voice cracked. People believe him. They think I'm a fraud who slept her way into a promotion. Then we prove them wrong. How? By keeping our distance? Pretending we're not partners? She laughed bitterly. That's what he wants. To isolate me. Ethan was silent for a moment. Then he opened his laptop. 3 years ago, when Keisha Okonkwo was being sabotaged, I stayed silent. I let them destroy her because speaking up meant risking my career. He pulled up a document. I'm not doing that again. Ethan, what are you? He turned the screen toward her. An email draft, addressed to the entire associate body. The subject line, Professional Collaboration and Gender Bias in Legal Work. Danai scanned the email. It was methodical, precise, devastating. Ethan laid out the facts. Their collaboration on Tektron, the work division, the discovery of Marcus's sabotage. He cited case law on workplace retaliation and gender discrimination. He didn't mention the rumors explicitly, but the implications were clear. You can't send this, Danai said. It'll make you a target. I'm already a target. I just have more armor than you do. He met her gaze. I'm a man. Asian, yes, but still a man. I have credibility you have to fight for, so I'll use it. This could ruin your career. Staying silent will ruin my conscience. He moved his cursor to the send button. Your call. But I'm ready. Danai stared at the screen. This was the moment. The choice between self-protection and partnership. Between fighting alone and trusting someone to fight beside her. Send it, she whispered. Ethan clicked. The email went out to 147 associates. Within 10 minutes, responses started flooding in. Basture. The email detonated like a bomb. Responses ranged from supportive, about time someone said it, to hostile, this is unprofessional, to conspicuously silent. Benjamin Cross called an emergency partners meeting. Julia summoned both Danai and Ethan to her office. That, Julia said, voice clipped, was the most reckless, naive, politically suicidal move I've seen in 15 years. Ethan didn't flinch. It was necessary. Necessary? You just painted a target on both your backs. Marcus is already drafting a response claiming defamation. Cross is furious. Half the partners think you're troublemakers. And the other half? Danai asked quietly. Julia's expression shifted. The other half remember what it's like to be junior, to watch talent get crushed by politics. She leaned forward. I'm one of them. Relief flooded through Danai. But, Julia continued, you've forced my hand. I can't be seen as playing favorites. So here's what's going to happen. Marcus will be offered the option to resign quietly or face a formal ethics review. He'll resign. The rumor mill will spin for a week, then move on to the next scandal. And you two will keep your heads down and do exceptional work. That's it? Ethan said. He just walks away? No, he walks away with a reputation that will follow him to every firm in this city. I'll make sure of that. Julia's smile was cold. I've been in this business 30 years. I know how to bury people who deserve it. Danai should have felt victorious. Instead, she felt hollow. After they left Julia's office, Danai went to the bathroom, locked herself in a stall, and felt the panic attack hit. Chest tight, vision blurring, breath coming in short, sharp gasps. She pressed her forehead against the cool metal door, trying to ground herself, trying to breathe. The bathroom door opened. Footsteps. Danai? Priya's voice. You okay? She couldn't answer. I'm getting Ethan. No. But Priya was already gone. 2 minutes later, Ethan's voice outside the stall. Danai, it's me. Can you open the door? Her hands shook as she unlocked it. Ethan knelt, meeting her at eye level. Look at me. Just me. She did. You're safe, he said quietly. You're not in danger. This is your body reacting to stress, not reality. Breathe with me. In for 4. Hold for 4. Out for 4. He counted. She followed. Slowly, the vice around her chest loosened. How long have you been having these? Ethan asked gently. 2 years, she whispered. Does anyone know? Just you. He nodded. Didn't judge, didn't pity, just accepted. Thank you for trusting me, he said. And for the first time, Danai realized she did trust him, completely. They sat on the bathroom floor for 20 minutes. Priya stood guard outside, turning away anyone who approached. When Danai finally felt stable, Ethan helped her stand. You don't have to go back out there today, he said. I'll tell Julia you're working from home. No. Danai straightened her blazer. I'm not hiding. It's not hiding. It's recovery. Same thing in this place. Ethan's expression darkened. Then this place is broken. Welcome to corporate law. He caught her wrist gently. Danai, listen to me. You are not weak for having panic attacks. You're not weak for needing help. You're surviving a system designed to break people like you. That's not weakness. That's extraordinary strength. Danai's throat burned. No one had ever said that to her. Not her mother, not her friends, not herself. I'm so tired, she admitted. I'm tired of fighting, tired of proving myself, tired of being perfect. Then stop. I can't. Yes, you can. Not permanently, just for today. He squeezed her hand. Let me carry it today. Tomorrow we'll share it. That's what partners do. And that sentence, simple, radical, impossible, broke something in Danai. All her defenses, all her armor, all her insistence on solitary strength. It cracked. She started crying. Not delicate tears, but gut-wrenching sobs that shook her entire body. Ethan pulled her into a hug, held her while she fell apart. Didn't tell her to stop, didn't rush her, didn't make her feel ashamed. He just held her. And for the first time in years, Danai let herself be held. For 2 weeks, Danai and Ethan kept their distance in public. Professional collaboration only. No coffee runs, no late-night work sessions, no personal conversations. It was strategic self-preservation. It was also agony, Danai hadn't realized how much she relied on their partnership until it was stripped away. Work felt emptier. Victories felt hollow. She was back to fighting alone, and it was suffocating. Marcus resigned quietly, as Julia predicted. But his poison lingered. Associates whispered in hallways. Partners gave Danai extra scrutiny on every assignment. Her work had to be flawless. Not just good, but unassailable. She delivered. Every time. But the cost was brutal. By Friday of the second week, Danai was running on 4 hours of sleep and 3 cups of coffee. She'd completed 2 impossible deadlines, mentored a junior associate through a complex filing, and reviewed 50 pages of regulatory compliance. She should have gone home. Instead, she stayed to finish one more memo. At 9:47 p.m., her phone rang. Mom. Hey, Mama. Danai answered, exhausted. You sound terrible. Are you sick? Just tired. Too tired to visit this weekend? I made your favorite, jerk chicken. Guilt squeezed Danai's chest. She'd canceled the last 3 visits. I can't, Mama. I have a deposition Monday. I need to prep. Silence. Then, you always need to prep. You've been saying that for 2 years. Because it's true. This job doesn't stop. Then maybe it's the wrong job. Danai's temper flared. You were the one who told me to go into law. You were the one who said, make your sacrifices worth something. I wanted you to succeed, not disappear. Claudette's voice cracked. I barely see you. When I do, you look like a ghost. I'm fine. You're not fine. You're killing yourself for a job that doesn't care if you live or die. Claudette was crying now. I didn't raise you to be a martyr. What did you raise me to be? Danai shouted. Because I'm doing exactly what you wanted. I'm working twice as hard, being twice as perfect, never complaining. I never wanted you to suffer like I did. The words hung in the air. Danai's anger drained away. What? Claudette's breath hitched. When your father left, I had a chance to take a promotion. Regional manager. More money, better hours. But it required travel, and I couldn't leave you with a babysitter every week. So I said no. I stayed in the same position for 20 years. Her voice broke. I watched less qualified people get promoted while I stayed behind, and I told myself it was worth it, because I was protecting you. But it ate me alive. Danai's eyes burned. I see that same bitterness growing in you, Claudette whispered, and I'm terrified I did this to you, that I pushed you into a life that's destroying you. Mama, I'm sorry, baby. I'm so sorry. Danai couldn't speak, couldn't think. The weight of inherited expectations, unspoken resentment, and misguided love crushed down on her. I have to go, she choked out. She hung up, sat in the empty office, and cried until there was nothing left. Ethan found her at 11 p.m., still at her desk, staring at nothing. You're still here, he said quietly. So are you. I was worried. He sat across from her. You've been different. Since we started keeping distance. Strategic necessity. Is it working? Danai laughed bitterly. No. People still think we're involved. But now I'm also alone. You're not alone. Aren't I? We don't talk anymore. We don't work together. You walk past me in the hallway like I'm a stranger. Her voice cracked. I know why we're doing it. But it still hurts. Ethan's expression softened. It hurts me too. Then why? Because I thought it's what you needed. Space, distance, proof that you could succeed without me. I don't want space, Danai whispered. I want partnership. I want someone who counts my hours and brings me coffee and tells me when I'm running on fumes. I want... She stopped. What do you want? The question hung between them. Danai looked at Ethan. Truly looked. The man who'd saved her from drowning without making her feel weak. Who'd fought for her when it meant risking everything. Who saw her panic attacks and trauma and exhaustion, and stayed. I want peace, she said finally. But not alone. Shared peace with you. Ethan stood, walked around the desk, knelt beside her chair so they were eye level. I can't promise this will be easy, he said. People will talk. Partners will scrutinize. You'll have to fight twice as hard to prove your competence isn't tied to me. I know. But I can promise I'll fight with you. Not for you, with you, as your partner. In work and... He hesitated. If you want, in life. Danai's breath caught. Are you asking what I think you're asking? I'm asking if you'll let me stay. Not as a colleague. Not as a strategic ally. As someone who cares about you. Who wants to share your burdens and celebrate your victories and count your hours because I want you alive and healthy and thriving. That sounds like a relationship. It is a relationship. Just one built on partnership instead of performance. Danai's walls, carefully constructed over years of disappointment and betrayal, finally crumbled. Okay, she whispered. Okay? Yes, stay. Ethan smiled. Not his professional smile, but something real and warm and devastating. He reached for her hand. She let him take it, and for the first time in years, peace didn't feel like solitude. It felt like coming home. The shift was subtle but seismic. They didn't announce anything, didn't make grand declarations, just started working together again. Coffee runs, late-night reviews, strategic huddles before partner meetings. But now, there was something else underneath. A current of intimacy, small touches, his hand on her shoulder when she was stressed, her fingers brushing his when she handed him documents. Eye contact that lasted 2 seconds too long. The associates noticed. But this time, Danai didn't care. She was done performing for people who would find fault no matter what she did. One evening, while reviewing a merger agreement, Danai caught herself using a legal shortcut Ethan had taught her. Cross-referencing regulatory statutes by jurisdiction first, then by industry. It saved hours. I use your methods now, she said, not looking up. All the time. The checklist system, the color-coded flags, the jurisdiction shortcut. And I hate that I didn't know them before. Hate that I spent 2 years drowning when there were life rafts. Ethan closed his laptop. You weren't drowning because you lacked methods. You were drowning because the system is designed to make people like you struggle. People like me? Women. People of color. Anyone who doesn't fit the mold of what a lawyer is supposed to look like. His voice was quiet, but fierce. The system makes you work twice as hard for half the credit, then calls it merit. Danai stared at him. You get that? Really get it? I'm learning to. You're teaching me. Something warm bloomed in her chest. Thank you. For what? For learning. For not making me explain why every microaggression hurts. For believing me without needing proof. Ethan reached across the table, took her hand. You don't have to thank me for basic human decency. In this place? Yes, I do. They sat in comfortable silence, hands linked, while the city hummed outside. I talked to my mom, Danai said eventually. She apologized for pushing me so hard, for projecting her regrets onto my life. How do you feel about that? Relieved, angry, grateful, all of it. She squeezed his hand. She wants to meet you. Ethan blinked. She knows about me? I told her, about the partnership, about... Danai hesitated. About us. And what did she say? She said, he better be worth it. Ethan smiled. Am I? Danai looked at him, the steady presence who'd saved her without demanding credit, who'd fought beside her when it was dangerous, who'd taught her that strength could be shared. Yes, she said simply. You are. Hust. Sunday dinner at Claudette Carter's house in Brooklyn was an exercise in polite interrogation. Danai had warned Ethan. She's going to ask you everything. Your intentions, your career plans, your credit score. Credit score? She's thorough. But when they arrived, Claudette surprised them. She hugged Danai first. Long, tight. The kind of hug that said, I'm sorry, without words. Then she turned to Ethan. So you're the one who's been keeping my daughter sane. Ethan offered his hand. I'd say we keep each other sane. Claudette studied him, then smiled. Good answer. Come in. Dinner was jerk chicken, rice and peas, plantains, all Danai's favorites. They ate at the small kitchen table, conversation flowing easily. Claudette asked about Ethan's family. He talked about his sister Mina. His parents struggled to build a medical practice in a new country. The pressure to honor their sacrifices. Sounds familiar, Claudette said, glancing at Danai. It does, Danai agreed softly. After dinner, while Ethan helped with dishes, Claudette pulled Danai aside. I like him, she said. He's steady, thoughtful, looks at you like you're the most important person in the room. He does that, Danai admitted. But more importantly, you're different around him. Lighter. Like you can finally breathe. Danai's eyes burned. I'm sorry I disappeared. I know. You were trying to survive. Claudette cupped her daughter's face. But surviving isn't the same as living. I learned that too late. Don't make my mistake. I won't, Danai promised. On the drive back to Manhattan, Ethan asked, Did I pass inspection? With flying colors. Good, because I like your mom. She likes you too, which is rare. Danai paused. She said I'm lighter around you. Are you? Yes. She reached for his hand. I think I forgot what it felt like, to not carry everything alone. Ethan brought her hand to his lips, pressed a soft kiss to her knuckles. You'll never have to carry it alone again. The Tektron merger closed successfully. $40 million deal, 0 issues, client ecstatic. Julia sent a firm-wide email praising Danai and Ethan's exemplary due diligence. They celebrated with takeout Thai food in Conference Room B, their unofficial headquarters. We did it, Danai said, raising her water bottle in a mock toast. You did it, Ethan corrected. I just provided backup. Liar. You caught the environmental liability issue. You drafted the fix. Ethan kissed her. It was soft, tentative, asking permission. Danai answered by pulling him closer. When they broke apart, both were breathless. I've wanted to do that for 3 months, Ethan admitted. Why didn't you? Because you needed a partner first, not a boyfriend. I wasn't going to confuse the two. And now? Now I'm hoping they can be the same person. Danai smiled. They can. They kissed again, slower this time. No rush, no agenda, just connection. Later, back at her apartment, they sat on her couch with coffee. His black, hers with oat milk. What happens now? Danai asked. We can't exactly keep this quiet. Why would we? We're not doing anything wrong. People will talk. Let them. We've already survived the rumor mill. What's real is better than what they invent. Danai leaned into him. I'm scared. Of what? That I'll mess this up. That I don't know how to be in a relationship without losing myself. Ethan wrapped an arm around her. Then we'll figure it out together, set boundaries, communicate, adjust when something isn't working. That simple? That complicated? He kissed her forehead. But worth it. Danai closed her eyes. For once, she didn't think about tomorrow's deadlines or next week's depositions or partner evaluations. She just existed in this moment. Warm, safe, at peace. Shared peace. Turitir. 3 months into their relationship, Ethan got a LinkedIn message. He stared at the screen for 5 full minutes before showing Danai. The message was from Keisha Okonkwo. Hi, Ethan. I heard about the email you sent re workplace retaliation. A friend forwarded it. I wanted to say thank you for finally doing what needed to be done. I also wanted you to know I'm okay. I left corporate law, went into nonprofit work. I'm happier, but I still think about that breakdown. about how no one stood up for me. I'm glad you're standing up now. Better late than never. Keisha. Ethan's hands shook. Are you okay? Danai asked gently. I don't know. I feel relieved, guilty, both. She forgave you. I don't deserve forgiveness. I was a coward. You were scared. There's a difference. Danai took his hand. And you changed. You fought for me even when it was dangerous. That's growth. But she still suffered. Yes. And that's a grief you'll carry. But you're using it to make sure no one else suffers the same way. That's redemption, Ethan. He looked at her, eyes bright with unshed tears. What if I fail again? What if next time? You won't, because now you know what silence costs. She squeezed his hand. And you have me reminding you when you start to falter. Ethan pulled her into a hug, burying his face in her hair. I love you, he whispered. Danai's breath caught. They hadn't said it yet, had been dancing around the words for weeks. I love you too, she whispered back. They stayed like that for a long time, holding each other in the quiet of his apartment. Healing wasn't linear. Redemption wasn't clean. But together, they were building something real. The question came during a fight. It was the first real fight they'd had, 6 months into the relationship, sparked by exhaustion and stress. Danai had taken on too much work again. Ethan had called her out, again. She'd snapped that he wasn't her keeper. I'm not trying to control you, Ethan said, frustrated. I'm trying to keep you from burning out. I don't need you to save me. I'm not trying to save you. Then what are you trying to do? Danai shouted. Because from here, it feels like you're constantly managing me, counting my hours, monitoring my sleep, acting like I'm fragile. You're not fragile, but you are pushing yourself to the breaking point. So what? It's my breaking point. I get to decide where it is. And I get to decide I don't want to watch the woman I love destroy herself. Silence crashed between them. Danai's chest heaved. Is that what this is? All of it? Me, the partnership, the relationship? Was I just your redemption project? Your chance to fix what you didn't fix with Keisha? Ethan looked like she'd slapped him. How can you even ask that? Because I need to know. Tears streamed down her face. I need to know if you care about me or if I'm just the ghost of someone you couldn't save. Ethan crossed the room, gripped her shoulders gently. You are not a project. You are not a replacement. You are not a chance at redemption. His voice shook. You are the person who reminded me why I became a lawyer, who taught me that strength isn't solitary, who made me better by letting me stand beside you. Then why does it feel like you're always trying to fix me? Because I love you, he shouted. And love means I can't turn off caring when you're hurting. I can't pretend I don't notice when you're drowning. I see you, Danai, all of you, and that means I see when you're suffering. Danai crumpled. I don't know how to let you care without feeling weak. Ethan pulled her close. Then we'll keep practicing. Every day. Until it stops feeling like weakness and starts feeling like partnership. She sobbed into his chest. He held her until the storm passed. Later, calmer, they sat on the floor of his living room. I'm sorry, Danai said quietly, for accusing you of using me. I'm sorry for making you feel managed. That was never my intention. I know, I'm so used to fighting alone. Sometimes partnership still feels foreign. It feels foreign to me too. But I think that's okay. We're learning together. Danai leaned her head on his shoulder. I love you. Even when we fight. Especially when we fight. It means we're honest enough to hurt each other and heal together. 8 months into their relationship, Danai got a career-defining opportunity. Technova, a Fortune 500 company, requested her specifically to lead their intellectual property litigation. The case was worth $70 million. High profile. Career-making. The catch? They'd heard about Danai through industry whispers, Her meticulous due diligence, her unshakable composure under pressure, her reputation for finding solutions no one else saw. They wanted her by, not Ethan, not the firm's brand, her. When Julia delivered the news, Danai felt dizzy. "This is your moment," Julia said. "You'll need a team, of course. Choose whoever you want." That evening, Danai told Ethan over dinner. "That's incredible," he said, genuinely thrilled. "You deserve this. I want you on the team." Danai, "Not as co-lead, as part of the team, if you want." Ethan set down his fork. "Are you asking because you want my skills, or because you're afraid to do it without me?" The question was gentle, but it hit hard. Danai considered. "Both, but mostly the first. You're the best legal strategist I know. I want you there because you make the work better." "Then I'm in." He smiled. "But this is your case. I'm support staff. You lead. You're okay with that?" "I'm proud of you." "Why wouldn't I be okay?" Danai realized with sudden clarity, Ethan had no ego about this. He wasn't threatened by her success. He celebrated it. "I love you," she said. "I love you too. Now tell me about Technova's IP issues so we can start strategizing." They spent the next 3 hours planning. But this time, Danai led. Ethan followed, and it felt perfect. The Technova case took 9 months. Brutal hours, high stakes, relentless pressure. But Danai thrived. She built a team of 5 associates, diverse backgrounds, complementary skills. She delegated effectively. She set boundaries. No emails after 9 p.m. unless emergency, mandatory Sundays off, mental health days as needed. Her team was loyal, efficient, happy. When they won the case, unanimous jury verdict, $70 million awarded, Technova's CEO personally called to thank her. "You're the best lawyer I've ever worked with," he said. "When you make partner, I want you as our permanent counsel. When you make partner. Not if. When." Julia delivered the official news 2 weeks later. The partnership committee voted. "You're being promoted to junior partner, youngest in firm history. Congratulations." Danai stared. What about Ethan? What about him? He was promoted to senior associate the same time as me. And he's excellent. But his trajectory is different. He'll make partner, just not yet. Danai's stomach churned. This was what she'd worked for. Proof that she belonged. Validation that her relentless effort mattered. But it felt wrong without Ethan beside her. "Can I think about it?" she asked. Julia frowned. "There's nothing to think about. This is the offer of a lifetime." "I know. I need 24 hours. Julia studied her, then nodded. 24 hours. That night, Danai told Ethan. He hugged her immediately. "You did it. God, Danai, you did it." "I don't feel like I did." "Why not?" "Because you're not making partner with me. It doesn't feel right." Ethan pulled back, held her at arm's length. "Listen to me carefully. This is your achievement. You earned it. Don't diminish it because of me. But we're partners." "Yes, and partners celebrate each other's victories without resentment. I am so proud of you." His eyes shone. "Take the partnership. Become the lawyer you were always meant to be. You're not upset?" "I'm thrilled. My trajectory is different. I'll make partner when I'm ready. But this is your moment. Don't let anyone, including me, take it from you." Danai searched his face for hidden disappointment. Found only genuine pride. "What did I do to deserve you?" she whispered. "You existed. That was enough." She kissed him. Soft, grateful, full of promise. "I'm accepting the partnership," she said against his lips. "Good. Because I already bought champagne." They celebrated that night, just the two of them, in his apartment, with takeout and cheap champagne, and the kind of laughter that comes from surviving hell together. Danai Carter was going to be a partner. At 29 years old. Despite the sabotage, The rumors, the panic attacks, the crushing pressure. She'd made it, and she hadn't lost herself along the way. Partnership came with new pressures. Danai now attended partner meetings where decisions shaped careers, where budgets were allocated, where associates were quietly labeled partner track or expendable. It was everything she'd fought for, and everything that made her uncomfortable. The first major decision came 3 months into her partnership. A senior associate named Lauren Kim was up for review. Brilliant lawyer, meticulous work, but she'd taken 2 mental health leaves in 18 months. Benjamin Cross argued for termination. We can't rely on someone who disappears for weeks at a time. Julia argued for retention. She's managing her health responsibly. That's not a weakness. The partners split. Danai's vote would break the tie. She thought of Keisha Okonkwo, of her own panic attacks, of the system that punished people for being human. I vote to retain, Danai said firmly. Lauren's work is exceptional. Mental health management isn't instability, it's maturity. If we punish people for taking care of themselves, we're part of the problem. Benjamin's jaw tightened. But Julia smiled. The vote passed. Lauren kept her job. After the meeting, Julia pulled Danai aside. That took courage. It took memory. I remember what it's like to feel disposable. Good, don't forget. That's what will make you different. Ethan made partner 8 months later. Quiet ceremony, well-deserved, 0 fanfare. They celebrated with their families. Claudette, Ethan's parents, his sister Mina, at a restaurant in Brooklyn. Look at you two, Claudette said, eyes bright. Partners in work and life. Your father would be so proud. Danai blinked. Her mother rarely mentioned her father. You think so? I know so. You became everything he hoped for. Without his help. Claudette squeezed her hand. That's the real victory. Across the table, Ethan caught Danai's eye. Smiled that soft, private smile that was just for her. She smiled back. This, partnership, family, love earned through surviving fire, this was peace. Not the solitary kind she'd once craved. The shared kind. The kind that multiplied instead of divided. Nasikamwan. 2 years after making partner, Danai was offered a position as general counsel for Technova. It was the pinnacle. In-house counsel for a Fortune 500 company. 7-figure salary. Executive leadership team. Stock options. Everything she'd sacrificed for. She told Ethan over dinner at their favorite Thai place. The same one where he'd first brought her green curry 3 years ago. That's incredible, he said. Are you taking it? I don't know. Are you? Ethan blinked. Am I what? Danai slid a second letter across the table. They want you too. Deputy General Counsel. We'd be building the legal department together. Ethan read the letter, then looked at her, stunned. You negotiated for both of us? I told them I wouldn't take the position unless you were part of the leadership team. They agreed immediately. She leaned forward. I meant what I said 3 years ago. I work better with you. I don't want to do this alone. Danai, if you don't want it, that's okay. I'll turn them down. We'll stay at the firm. Yes. She stopped. Yes? Yes, I want it. Yes, I'll go with you. Yes to all of it. He reached across the table, took her hands. Building something new together? That's everything I want. Relief flooded through her. Okay. Then we're doing this. We're doing this. They clinked water glasses, their old ritual, and laughed at the absurdity of it all. 3 years ago, Danai had been drowning. Alone, exhausted, convinced that peace meant isolation. Now she was leaving corporate law on her terms, with a partner who saw her completely, building a future they'd designed together. Their last day at Hartman and Cross was bittersweet. Julia hosted a farewell lunch. You two are the best thing that happened to this firm, and I hate that we're losing you. You're not losing us, Danai said. You're launching us. Don't get sentimental on me, Carter. I have a reputation to maintain. but Julia's eyes were bright. She hugged Danai tightly and whispered, "Make them regret every firm that didn't see your brilliance." "I will." That evening, Danai and Ethan walked through Manhattan one last time as Hartman and Cross employees. Past the building where they'd fought Marcus's sabotage. Past the coffee shop where Ethan had enforced her first real boundary. Past the subway entrance where he'd met her every evening during her worst months, just to make sure she got home safe. "Do you remember the first time you stayed late to help me?" Danai asked. "The contract with the hidden jurisdiction clause. You were going to pull an all-nighter. You solved it in 15 minutes. We solved it together." Danai stopped walking, turned to face him. "Thank you, for seeing me when I couldn't see myself, for staying when I pushed you away, for teaching me that partnership doesn't mean losing autonomy, it means multiplying strength." Ethan cupped her face gently. "Thank you for trusting me, for letting me count your hours and bring you coffee and love you even when you were terrified. I'm not terrified anymore." "Good, because I'm about to do something that might change that." He knelt. Danai's breath stopped. Ethan pulled out a small velvet box. "I know we're partners in every way that matters, but I want to make it official. Danai Carter, will you marry me?" Tears streamed down her face. Yes, absolutely yes." He slid the ring onto her finger. Simple, elegant, perfect, and stood to kiss her. Around them, the city hummed. Strangers walked past. Life continued. But in that moment, for Danai, the world narrowed to this. Shared peace, earned love, partnership that had survived fire and emerged stronger. She didn't wake up in love. She'd built it, brick by brick, choice by choice, hour by hour. And it was real. "Asking you." 6 months later, Danai stood in Technova's sleek headquarters, looking out at the San Francisco skyline. Her office, her team, her vision. Ethan appeared in the doorway, 2 cups of coffee in hand. "Oat milk, no sugar." She smiled. "You remembered. Always." They stood together at the window, shoulders touching, watching the city wake. "Do you ever miss the chaos?" Ethan asked. "The 80-hour weeks, the impossible deadlines, No." Danai's answer was immediate. "I don't miss performing. I don't miss proving myself to people who were determined to doubt me. I don't miss carrying everything alone." "What do you miss?" She considered. "Nothing. For the first time in my life, I don't miss anything. I'm exactly where I want to be." Ethan kissed her temple. "Me too." Later, during a leadership meeting, Danai noticed one of the junior associates, a young black woman named Jasmine, looking exhausted. Dark circles under her eyes, shoulders tense. That haunted look Danai recognized intimately. After the meeting, Danai pulled Jasmine aside. "How many hours did you work last week?" Jasmine hesitated. 70, maybe 75. "That's too many. Going forward, I want you capped at 55. Anything beyond that requires my explicit approval." "But the Thompson contract?" "Will get done, with proper team support." Danai handed her a business card. "This is my therapist. She specializes in high-achieving professionals. I've been seeing her for 2 years. It saved my career, and my life." Jasmine stared at the card, then at Danai. "You go to therapy?" "Every week, because I'm human, because this job is hard, because asking for help is strength, not weakness." Tears welled in Jasmine's eyes. "Thank you." "Don't thank me. Just take care of yourself. That's an order from your general counsel." Jasmine laughed through tears. "Yes, ma'am." On that evening, Danai and Ethan cooked dinner together in their new apartment. Laughter, easy conversation, the comfortable rhythm of shared life. After dinner, they sat on the couch with coffee, his black, hers with oat milk. "I've been thinking," Danai said, "about starting a mentorship program for young lawyers from underrepresented backgrounds, pairing them with partners who actually give a damn." "I love that idea. Count me in." "Yeah? We survived hell. Might as well use that experience to help others avoid it." Danai leaned into him. I love you. I love you too. They sat in comfortable silence, watching the San Francisco fog roll in. Danai thought about the woman she'd been 3 years ago. Drowning, defensive, convinced that peace meant isolation. She thought about Ethan appearing in that conference room at 10:47 p.m., offering partnership without conditions. She thought about every choice that had led here, trusting instead of defending, accepting help instead of performing strength, building partnership instead of protecting solitude. Peace hadn't arrived as a destination. It had grown, slowly, painfully, beautifully, in the spaces between survival and connection. She didn't wake up in love. She woke up safe, and that made all the difference. Sorry. If this story touched you, if you're learning that peace and partnership can coexist, subscribe and share this with someone who needs to hear it. Every story we tell is a reminder. You don't have to choose between success and sanity. You can build both. Together. 3 years. That's how long it took Danai Carter to learn that peace wasn't something she had to earn alone. The night Ethan Park walked into that conference room and offered 15 minutes of help, he didn't know he was offering a future. He was just being decent, human, present. But decency, when extended consistently, becomes trust. Trust becomes partnership. Partnership becomes love. Danai had wanted peace, the quiet kind that came from controlling every variable, needing no one, owing nothing. What she found was something better. Shared peace. The kind built through counting each other's hours, bringing coffee without being asked, staying when staying was dangerous. Corporate law hadn't changed. It was still brutal, still biased, still designed to break people who didn't fit the mold. But Danai changed. She learned that surviving didn't require solitary strength, that asking for help wasn't weakness, that the strongest foundations were built by two people committed to holding each other up. Ethan learned too. That protection without partnership was paternalism. That love meant witnessing someone's pain without trying to fix it. That redemption wasn't a one-time act, but a daily choice to do better. Together, they built something real. Not perfect. They still fought, still struggled, still carried trauma that surfaced at inconvenient moments. But real. Rooted in honesty, watered by consistency, growing toward light. Years later, when young lawyers asked Danai for advice, she always said the same thing. Find your people, the ones who count your hours not to judge you, but to remind you you're human. The ones who bring you coffee because they pay attention. The ones who fight beside you, not for you. And when they asked Ethan, he said, love isn't rescuing someone. It's creating space for them to save themselves, and staying close enough to catch them if they stumble. Peace, they learned, wasn't the absence of chaos. It was the presence of someone who made the chaos bearable, someone who saw you completely. Panic attacks, exhaustion, pride, brilliance, fear, and stayed. Danai didn't want a relationship. She wanted peace. What she discovered was that with the right person, they were the same thing. The last image. Danai at her desk in Technova's headquarters, late evening, working on a complex contract. But this time, her shoulders are relaxed. Coffee still warm. Post-its organized in her signature color system. But now there's a yellow one stuck to her monitor in Ethan's handwriting. Home by 8. I'm making dinner. She smiles, saves her work, closes the laptop. Behind her, Ethan appears in the doorway. Doesn't speak, doesn't need to. She stands, grabs her bag, takes his hand. They walk out together into the San Francisco evening, leaving the office behind. The camera lingers on her desk, coffee still warm, plant blooming, yellow post-it glowing under the desk lamp. She didn't wake up in love, but she woke up every morning without fear, and that was the truest piece of all.